Hey you guys, it's Raven. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button so you do not miss out on any of the goodies that I'm always sharing in my videos. So I wanted to do a video today really quickly and talk to you guys about the importance of spending time with Jesus, but also some tips to just make time to spend time with him. So believe it or not, I have come such a long way in my journey with Jesus. I was definitely one of those people that, even though I was always a believer, I was not always spending adequate time with God. And so, definitely, I started to sort of notice like the negative effect of that in my life. It was a lot of confusion. It was a lot of times I was lacking clarity, and just quite frankly, it was a lot of times that I was in certain situations and I felt like, God, where are you? But that's how I knew that I was out of order, because there's no such thing as Jesus, where are you? He's always there. His word says that he'll never leave us. He will never forsake us. So ain't no where are you, sis. He's right there. He's omnipresent. He's always there, believe it or not. But I wasn't reaping the full benefits, the full harvest of having a relationship with Jesus, because I really just was not spending time with him. I was so busy, booked and busy. I was so busy being successful and everything else that came along with that. I was so busy checking in for my next flight. I was so busy focusing on where my next client was coming from. I was so busy, doing all of these things. And I just got to a point where it was like, I'm either too busy, or basically I'm spending a little bit of time with you at the end of the day, and I'm giving you a little bit after I done already gave, everybody else and everything else, all of myself. So I was way, way, way out of order. And honestly, it wasn't until I got married and that's why marriage is so funny, because marriage can ultimately be like a mirror sometimes. Like in a marriage, you can't really hide the things about yourself that you need to work on, and the things that you need to fix and stuff like that. And so it can definitely be like a mirror at times. And I remember one day, my husband had said to me, and he said it, in a very nice, very tactful way, but he still was being real husbandly, y'all know what I mean. But he was like, when do you really like sit and spend, your own time with God? And it really convicted me, because I realized, I spend time with him, but I don't spend the amount of time with him that I know that, I need to. And so for me, it was a struggle. It was a struggle of like, where do I even start with this? Because I felt like, I'll go into my closet, I'll shut the door, I'll start praying and sitting in silence, but then I'll start thinking about French fries. I'll start thinking about my next trip. I'll start thinking about cows jumping over the moon. And how many people have ever gone into your prayer space, you sat in silence, and you've just been completely distracted? But that is definitely a trick of the enemy. Even in the scripture, it says, go into your room, go into your private room, shut the door, and God is going to reward you. So many of us are missing out on certain things because we are not spending time with Jesus to even know about what's going on, to get those strategies for our businesses, to get those strategies for how to be a better wife, for how to be a better mom. I don't know about y'all, but I run to him with everything. When I first became a wife, it was like, all right, how we going to figure this out, Jesus? When I first became a mom, all right, how we going to figure this out, Jesus? It was all of that. I run to him with every single area, or about every single thing in my life. And so I need to have that relationship with him, and you need to have that relationship as well. So I'm just going to give you guys 3 quick tips, just to help you if you're experiencing distraction when you're trying to spend time with Jesus. So first thing that you want to do is you want to be consistent. It's helpful if you pick a consistent time that you're going to have your time with him every single day. Don't try to be like, I'm going to do it before I go to sleep, because then it's going to be too many nights that you fall asleep and you don't do it. Don't say, I'm going to do it as soon as I wake up, because you may not wake up at the same time every day. Of course, when we wake up, one of the first things that most of us do is say, thank you, God, for waking me up. But you need more time with him. You need time that you can study the word. You need time that you can sit in silence. You need time that you can just talk to him, and it's an uninterrupted time, and you're not feeling like you have to rush and hurry up and get ready for a meeting, or hurry up, and get ready for work, or hurry up and make the kids breakfast, or whatever the case may be. So you want to make sure that you pick a consistent time every single day that you are going to spend with him. So my second tip when you're spending time with him is that you want to make sure that you're doing what works for you and not just what other people are telling you. That's why I always say, like, take my advice. With my advice, take what you need, and whatever you don't need, you could just leave it here. And I'm so unoffended by that, because for me, spending time with Jesus, I might put on some praise and worship music to get myself all riled up, but you might be like, listen, I don't need none of that. That's what works for me. That doesn't mean that if you don't put on praise and worship music, you're not getting the most, out of your time with him. That's not what it means. You want to do what works for you, and not just because you want your relationship with him to be authentic to you. That's like me telling somebody, this is what works in my marriage, this is what you should do. No, my marriage is my marriage, your marriage is your marriage, my kids is my kids, your kids is your kids. Like, it's a totally different thing. I don't know what you have going on in your life to tell you how your relationship with him needs to be, but I know that there needs to be one. I know that you need to spend time with him. So tip number 2, you want to make sure that you're doing what works for you. And the only way to really figure out what works for you in that time is to be consistent with it. As you spend more time with him, you'll start to learn what you need. You'll start to learn the flow of things, in the time that you spend with him, and all of that good stuff. My last I just have so many, so that's why I'm trying to think, like, dang, what do I want to kind of end off with as my third tip for spending time with him. I think that if I only have one more, because I said 3. So I would say that my last tip for spending time with him is always to go enjoy. Go into that space and be in such joy no matter what it is that you have going on. Something that he revealed to me in my time with him actually recently, probably maybe like 2 or 3 months ago. I had so much going on, being a new mom and being tired, and having all of my wife responsibilities, business responsibilities, all that good stuff. I remember one time I came into the prayer room and I just was so angry, like, God, I'm listening to everything that you told me to do, and why am I frustrated, or why is this certain thing not going my way, and blah blah blah, and whatever. And it's just like, girl, like, why you coming in here all turned like that? Like, seriously. I mean, imagine somebody approaching you and they turned up, coming to you, acting like they're angry with you. You're going to be like, sis, back up, go out the door, open it again, and try again, when you're in a better mood. And that doesn't mean that, if you are feeling some type of way, don't go and spend that time with him. But you definitely want to just go in there, and go in there in a place of joy, because God is good even in bad times. And that's something that, I had to definitely tell myself, like, if I'm going in here with anger, I'm probably going to miss out on something that you're trying to share with me in this quiet time. I'm probably not going to hear something. And that's another trick of the enemy. He wants you to feel like God has forgotten about you. He wants you to feel like you're not enough. He wants you to feel like you're lacking things. And so he wants to use those things as ways to prevent you from spending that time with him. Do not fall for it. He is slick. He's a thief. He comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And he wants to distract your relationship with God by making sure that you never even go into your quiet time and just have that time of peace with him. So you definitely want to come into that space with a joyful mindset, with a joyful, clean heart, and just get excited. That's another thing that I would say. Be excited. I like to call, like, my time with God as like a dad date. I'm going and I'm spending time with my father because that's who he is. So just make it fun. Don't look at it like something that's a burden, because it's not. It's something that should constantly be a part of your everyday life. If you need more tips or more information on how to spend time with Jesus, you can check out my new devotional. It's called Kicking It with the King. The link to get it is in the comments. I hope that you guys love it. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and show me some love in the comments. Ask me some questions or tell me what your time with Jesus looks like. You know, maybe you're doing something that I'm not doing and I can implement it and have even more fun when I'm spending time with him. So tell me what your time looks like as well. I'll see you guys in a later video. Thanks for joining me.